Welcome to week 6. This week we're going to talk a little bit about forests and wildlife and about the history and legislation behind it. The Forest Reserve Act in 1891 allowed the President to set aside timber-covered lands for the federal government. Gifford Pinchot, known as the father of forestry, was the first head of the USDA and which later became the Forest Service. Multiple Use Sustained Yield Act was passed in 1960, the Wilderness Act in 1964, the National Environmental Policy Act, or NEPA, in 1969, and the National Forest Management Act of 1976. This law required the Department of Agriculture to consider economic and environmental aspects of their work. Forests occupy about a third of the total land area of the United States. 2/3 of forests are classified as commercial timberland land. Factors affecting the suitability of forest habitats are the age, the patch size, the patch shape, the composition, meaning the tree species present, the internal structure, which is the vertical complexity, in other words, having different levels of canopy, and the distribution across the landscape, the connectivity and juxtaposition of forests, and human access via roads. Succession begins when a plant community is disturbed by, say, fire, insects, disease, wind, or timber harvest. The disturbance can be coarse scale or a fine scale disturbance, meaning individual trees would be fine scale. A coarse scale would be a large blowdown areas from a hurricane or other kind of windstorm or fire. Shade-intolerant species give way then to shade-tolerant ones. The climax forest is not static, meaning it's continually changing. And there's gap succession, meaning the gaps from that blowdown example that I gave you would be in a different stage of succession than the rest of the climax forest around it. Each wildlife species is favored by a certain cirral or climax community. For example, in eastern deciduous forests, an oak hickory forest is favored by squirrels and white-tailed deer. A pine forest would be favored by certain species of woodpecker. Forest management for wildlife. Silviculture is the practice of manipulating forest vegetation to control forest growth and composition. Rotation time is the time from when the stand is established to its financial maturity, when it can be harvested. And the cutting sequence is the pattern of cutting across an entire area. So we have different types of forest management shown here. Uneven aged, that's a stand that has trees of 3 or more distinct age classes, either mixed together or in small groups. A 2-age forest is a stand with trees of very distinct age classes, separated by more than plus or minus 20% of the rotation age. And then an even age stand is one that was all planted at the same time, for example, and so plus or minus 20% of the rotation age. So you can see there the different types of stands. Even age management, the benefits are new growth of nutritious forage, increases the edge, and that's where wildlife are typically most numerous, is at the edge. Favors shade intolerant plant species because it's all one age, so that everything has to be that way. Size of clear cut determines the value to wildlife. The drawbacks are it destroys cover for animals, even though it's temporary. Erosion, especially on steep slopes with a single age, and increases fragmentation and edge, which is detrimental to interior species. Uneven aged management is management for continuous high forest cover. Single trees are cut every 5 to 30 years. Individuals from all age classes are removed. It promotes shade-tolerant species. Group selection cut or miniature clear cut is used for less shade-tolerant species. The costs and benefits: it can produce a variety of microhabitats for many species, favors regrowth of shade-intolerant species, and is a higher rate of disturbance than a clear cut. Forests and roads. The Forest Service currently manages about 380,000 miles of roads. which could circle the Earth 15 times, 8 times the mileage of the interstate highway system. The uses for the roads are logging and mining, fire management, access to hunting, fishing, camping, hiking, mushrooming, and now for their roads, recreation is the largest use. The problems are erosion. Some wildlife species, for example elk, avoid roads. It's expensive to maintain this road system. And the National Forest Management Act requires new roads to be revegetated with 10 years if possible. How do we enhance forests for wildlife? Here's a quote from your text. The needs of all animals cannot be met in the management plans for a single forest. Some management may be designed to enhance species richness, whereas other management may be directed toward one or a few featured species. Snags. A snag is a dead tree left standing. It provides cavities for nesting and denning animals. It's a food source for insectivorous animals. It's a perch site for birds. What makes a good snag, a good tree to leave, would be it's hard, it's large diameter, it's tall, it has lots of bark left. So those are what wildlife depend on. Creating snags, different ways they do that. They blast the tops, or you can actually inject herbicide or fungi into the tree and then leave it as a snag. Another method is putting out nest boxes or using dead logs as habitat, because dead logs store nutrients, retain soil moisture, reduce erosion, they grow fungi. An example, in the Blue Mountains in Oregon, 179 vertebrate species use logs as habitat. So very important to leave down trees. And here are some resources that you might find interesting. You can also find these in the PowerPoint in the classroom.